Okay, so I don't know what got into me this one day at preschool, right? But there was this boy who I fucking despised because he was such a dick to me. Like, he was this little, like, jackass of a kid that I hated, right? So I stole this hole punch, and for some reason I was like, you know what? We need a hole punch at home. And I brought it to my mom, and I was like, look, Mom, I stole a hole punch. I got it from school. And my mom was like, you put that back, you grabby little bitch. So I went back the next day, and I was about to put it back, all stealth-like, so nobody knew that I stole it. And instead, I put it in that boy's backpack, and he got in so much trouble from his parents and the school for stealing. And I was like, yes, payback. And then, when I was in 2nd grade, we went on this field trip to the zoo. And for some reason, a couple of the boys were wearing suits. And one of the boys had a clip-on tie. So what I said was, I was making fun of him for wearing a clip-on tie. I was like, oh my god, you're such a noob wearing a clip-on tie. What, do you have a clip-on dick too? I was like, that's the equivalent, and I was like trolling him. And he was so sad, he ran off and cried to the teacher. And I was like, why are you crying to the teacher? It was a joke. And when they told my parents just laughed. And they were like, that's hilarious, but don't use bad language anymore. So, so yeah, I've been doing kind of weird shit where I always felt like I was older than everyone else, like mentally, not physically. Like I was always like well, I guess physically too, because when I was in 5th grade I was 5'4", and I was I gotta go home, and I was taller than all of the boys and everything. But I stayed 5'4". I never grew. It's quite weird. So what can I talk about? Talk about burgers. Burgers are good. But I really hate those like really fat burgers that you get at like gourmet restaurants where you have to choose whether they're medium rare, etc. Like I really don't like that. Simply because I don't really like meat in the first place, and I feel like that's way too like, ugh. And sometimes it's like hard on the outside and like bloody on the inside when they don't like make it the way I want them to make it. They don't listen, and it just feels like, ugh, it's like too much meat and like bad meat. I hate ground beef like in general. I really like. I can't believe I can just keep talking about burgers like this. So I have a lot of burgers in my house. I have these like spicy breaded like fake chicken. And like, oh my god, you guys have to try like this vegetarian or vegan burgers that I have. They're so fucking good. They taste like they're like 1,000 calories, but it's only like 200 calories, like each patty. It's fucking amazing. I love vegan food when it's done right, because holy fucking shit, it tastes so good for so little calories. And it's like, a lot of people think that vegetarians and vegans eat just like veggies. I fucking hate veggies. The only time I can eat veggies is when it's like made into something that isn't vegetarian looking, like a burger, you know? So vegetarian like hot dogs and all that stuff, I love it. I love eating like a fat ass without becoming a fat ass, because I'm eating vegetarian food. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of like really gross vegetarian food though, definitely. Have you guys heard of the Oculus Rift? It's a head-mounted virtual reality, and it's like a virtual reality system, and it's like way ahead of the virtual reality systems they had back in the day. So I tried it out at E3, and the guy's like, you might not want to move around too quickly because some people do get motion sickness, and I usually don't get motion sickness at all. So I'm like, oh my god, look at everything! And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, and I thought I was going to throw up. It was like immense sickness, like all of a sudden, motion sickness, like something going on with the equilibrium inside my ears, all that, you know. But it just like fucked me up. And then I was with this guy, whose name was, what was his name? Tim. He works at Zoom Games. He's the photographer, videographer of Zoom Games. And he was with me, and he put it on, and he's like, oh, this is awesome, and he can move his head around, and he's like, this is the best thing at E3, and he was so happy, and I was like, I can't enjoy the Oculus Rift because I get really sick. Sucks. Yeah, totally worth it, right? Oh god, the whole day I was like feeling nauseous after that. It like totally screwed up the workings of my inner ear. How real does it seem? Pretty real, but the games that I was playing were like low graphics. It wasn't meant to be realistic. It was kind of just like a deep space mission thing. But imagine playing Slender. Like, check out PewDiePie's stream, or PewDiePie's channel on YouTube. He actually played like a horror survival game with the Oculus Rift, which is like, oh my god, fucking 10 times more real than anything else. I really know Kaldor, the StarCraft 2 commentator? Oh my god, yes I do. Such a shocking thing. Already did. Indeed. Oh, I can't do a jumpy. I love that when I'm walking, I'm creating fire, but then when I'm fighting an elite, I always think that that's, like, you know, his stuff and not mine. Stay out of the fire. Video game logic #1. Or video game rule #1.